right. So, some more fun turbo thoughts on innovation. Why does innovation matter, etc. I mean, I think a simple way to think about it is so much innovation is actually based on, like, essentially it's your philosophy. What I mean by that is innovate is to create something new, and it seems like it's kind of a rich time right now to consider innovation because, like, my thought is in America, the capital markets are kind of tapped out. Like, life in America pretty much sucks for everybody, even if you're rich. And as a consequence, people are essentially living in shackles where it's kind of like a metaphor. Like, everyone's living in a Plato's cave. Like, the idea of the images behind the people and you see the shadows on the walls. Everyone's living in a matrix, a metaphorical matrix, right? And, the question is, like, do you want people to wake up, or do you just kind of do your thing and let everyone else be plugged in, right? And so maybe we should rewatch The Matrix. One of the good ideas about The Matrix is, like, if from birth you've been plugged into the Matrix, right, and that's all you know, certainly if you put yourself into the light, it's going to be bright, it's going to hurt. It's like, just like Neo is like, why do my eyes hurt? And then Morpheus is like, because you've never used them before. It's like, dun, 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 right? And so I also think that the next generation, thinking about life in general and stuff, right, is that, like, the whole idea, use it or lose it, it's very apt. What it means is there are certain faculties and facilities in which if we don't practice it, we're going to atrophy. So, for example, even going to space, right? One of the biggest issues that astronauts have is their bones get weaker because they're essentially not subjected to gravity no more. And gravity is our friend. It strengthens us. So if you've ever jumped into a pool and swam in a pool, you kind of know that it's like kind of nice to feel weightlessness. But you could do like 1 finger push-ups, right, in the pool, very easy. But also, for me, weightlifting, hyperlifting, 1 rep max lifting, it's all about leveraging gravity to your benefit. So what that means is it's better to subject yourself to like 10 G-forces for like a split second rather than for the whole day having you do 30% more weight, right? So extremely high intensity for like a split second is superior than prolonged things for a long time. So for example, stress, right? There's this notion of eustress, good stress. Eustress is in which, like, seeing a tiger jump out of a bush and you get like the heebie-jeebies for like half a second, and then you calm down, you're like, okay, it wasn't a lion, it was like something else, right? It's better than this prolonged, like, dread feeling that you have to, message your boss about something, right? And my thought about via negativa tranquility, it's all via negativa, right? Like, don't have a boss, don't have a job, don't get a paycheck. I think as long as you get a paycheck, you're still not free. And I mean, it's interesting because we all kind of knew it was coming, but at the same time, the downside is that, like, it's kind of difficult to think and consider. Oh yeah. It was kind of hard for us to consider that, like, for example, USAID. We're currently here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and we've actually met a lot of other, parents and peoples who was funded through the USAID, and then boom, like after 20 years of being safely employed, boom, their whole livelihood is just like cut. And I think the way that reality works is it's a one-way ratchet, which means once you turn it that way, you cannot unturn it, right? And so to anybody who's like waiting and praying for, Trump to leave office, I think that's kind of not the smart strategy, because, the next administration, the policies will be more similar to today's policies through Trump than some sort of other left person, right? And I mean, like think about the big ones, right? You gotta think about, like, rather than complaining about how life is, a better strategy is figuring out how to win, right? So one of the best things about being here in Phnom Penh, I see like 5 Rolls Royces a day. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in a Rolls Royce, don't care what you call it. Oh yeah. Like Pusha T said, playing peekaboo with the emblem. Oh yeah, Rolls Royce. Got the rolls. Way too rich, drive a Rove. Okay. So don't buy the lamb, buy the rolls, right? I think, yeah. So virtues of Phnom Penh. The first one is the streets are actually like super calm. There's like practically nobody in the streets, even on the busy Monday morning, right? I think actually, contrary to popular belief, I think the weather's great. I think it's nice and warm. As a consequence, it feels good to walk around. The people are like sublimely kind and nice and friendly. And the virtues of Phnom Penh, because it's a real city, right? It's not like a tourist town, is that you have more like local industry. Okay, consider the median age, not the average age, the median age, which is actually a much more solid metric than average, right? Is 25 years old, the average person, right? And so like everybody you meet is like these like friendly university students, and like so I think actually one of the biggest issues we get in America is because the minimum, so this is my thought, this is my read. Because the minimum wage of America keeps going up higher, and these corporations like Shake Shack or whatever, they need to make their profits because they are a publicly traded corporation, right? What happens in the long term is, even though the workers get their incomes boosted from 15 an hour to 20 an hour, and once again, this is also one reaction, like you cannot magically give somebody $20 an hour and then the next day like offer them 15 an hour. They're not gonna take the job, right? And as a consequence, everything gets inflated. So for example, let's say you're a kid, right? And I offered you like 10 fake tokens for 1 lollipop, right? And the kid's like, cool. 10 tokens for 1 lollipop, got it, right? And then magically one day you're like, oh, actually, no, it's gonna be like 15 tokens for 1 lollipop. And the kid's like, oh, even better, right? But then one day if you just like go back and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give 5 tokens for 1 lollipop, people are gonna be like, nope, not gonna do it, right? And so this is my toddler education for Bitcoin, right? Imagine there's only 21 million magical lollipops, right? Which will give you strength, power, and prosperity forever. And there's only ever gonna be 21 million lollipops on the planet. And assuming there's like, I don't know, 4 billion kids on the planet, right? Or let's say, you think about America, LA, or whatever, right? So assume there's 21 million kids at school, right? 21 million children exist, right? And there's only gonna be 21 million lollipops. All the kids want a lollipop. Or like, whatever's, right? Certainly the value of it is going to go up, because as these schools keep giving out these fake tokens, the thing is going to get inflated. But anyways, play the long game. Think and consider how the future will be predicated on scarcity, cyber digital scarcity. The goal is to always be happy and prosper.